Welcome, radiant soul, to old Buddhist philosophy, a sanctuary beyond time, a sacred breath between the ancient and the now. You have not stumbled here by accident. No wind blows without direction in the realm of spirit. There are no coincidences in the dance of the cosmos, only divine timing, ancient memory, and unseen threads pulling the awakened toward truth. Perhaps your journey began with a whisper, a strange number repeating itself in your days, the silent gaze of the moon stirring something ancient within you, or the sudden sensation that life is more layered, more symbolic than you were ever taught. The modern world often silences these signals, but here we honor them. Here we remember that the soul speaks in signs, that numbers carry breath. But the universe is not just expanding above us, it is expanding within us. This sacred space is not a typical channel, it is a temple in digital form, a space where the voice of the Buddha still echoes softly through time, where karmic winds still carry the scent of forgotten truths, and where the ancient seers, like Nostradamus and Baba Vanga, lean through veils to offer glimpses into what is yet to come. Together, we travel these inner rivers, guided by numerology, astrology, Buddhist wisdom, and the hidden mathematics of spirit. We sit at the edge of the timeless and listen, not with ears, but with the heart's intuition. With every number we explore, with every symbol we unveil, we are not just learning, we are remembering the wisdom etched into your soul long before this incarnation. Remembering the sacred codes that the stars wrote into your destiny, remembering the karmic winds that brought you here now, in this very moment, as the universe begins to shift once more in August 2025, unveiling 6 sacred numbers and a divine cosmic bonus that are not random but chosen. So breathe deeply, let the world grow quiet, let the winds of the past settle like soft dust around your feet. In this stillness, you are not alone. You are held by the unseen, watched over by the ancestors, and gently guided by celestial rhythms you can finally begin to feel. The numbers we are about to reveal are sacred, not simply digits, but energies, frequencies, awakenings. They vibrate with spiritual instruction and karmic clarity. They carry messages encoded for your evolution, your wealth, your alignment, your soul's next chapter. You are here because you are ready, not for shallow luck, but for sacred remembrance. You are ready to decode the sacred numbers that pulse like soft drums in the background of your life, and to hear what the Buddha might whisper if you sat beneath the Bodhi tree tonight. You are ready to rise beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond illusion, and step fully into your destined frequency. So, beautiful soul, are you ready to remember the language of the universe? Number 7, the frequency of inner stillness. In a world that never sleeps, where the scroll never ends and the race never pauses, there arises a gentle frequency, soft, subtle, and sacred. It does not compete for attention, nor does it demand applause. Instead, it whispers, like the wind moving through bamboo leaves, like the breath that rises and falls unnoticed. This is the quiet call of number 7, the number of the mystic, the monk, the wanderer who no longer wanders. It is not here to dazzle, it is here to draw you inward, toward the untouched sanctuary that lives beyond all noise. Within the teachings of Buddhist philosophy, 7 is not merely a digit. It is a vibration that governs the spiritual journey inward. 7 steps the Buddha took upon his birth. 7 chakras align the body's subtle energy field. 7 days mark the transition through the bardo after death. This number is encoded into the fabric of sacred transformation, the kind that does not shout, but unfolds in the silence beneath striving. It is the still point between cause and effect, the breath taken before awakening. And as August's planetary dance unfolds, with Jupiter expanding the field of divine growth and Mercury offering windows of clarity, The number 7 becomes more than a symbol, it becomes a guidepost, a golden thread leading you back to presence. Its energy does not push you to achieve more, but invites you to become more, not through effort, but through awareness. It reminds us that inner stillness is not passive, it is the most profound form of engagement with the self, with life, and with the cosmos. This is not the stillness of escape, nor the quiet of avoidance. It is the sacred pause before realization. It is the silence beneath the teachings of the Dhammapada, where wisdom is not spoken but known. In mid-August, this energy vibrates more patently than usual. You may find yourself called to disconnect, to retreat, to walk slower, to breathe deeper. Heed that call. The greatest insights often arrive not when we chase them, but when we make space for them to land. Baba Vanga once spoke of inner guidance that cannot be taught, only remembered. Nostradamus saw a time when seekers would rediscover the ancient wisdom hidden within their own being. This is that time. The presence of 7 asks, what is cluttering your sacred space? What noise have you mistaken for necessity? When did you last sit with yourself, not to fix or judge, but to simply be? In a world addicted to motion, 7 is the teacher of stillness, and stillness, dear one, is where the soul returns to its natural rhythm. So today, breathe with intention, light a single candle, and say nothing. Watch its flame, listen to your pulse. Let number 7 speak to you in the tongue of silence. For in that silence, you may find the answer that countless words could never give. And now, ask yourself, when was the last time I truly heard my soul without interruption? Number 26. The silent guide of realignment. In the quiet turning of cosmic cycles, when the noise of ambition softens and the stars lean in to listen, there arrives the frequency of number 26, not loud, not boastful, but steady like the footsteps of an old monk crossing a temple courtyard at dawn. To the unaware, it is just another number, but to the awakened soul, it is a sacred signpost, gently nudging the spirit back to its original path. In its 2 digits dwell a cosmic marriage, the softness of 2, symbol of union, intuition, and soul listening, with the strength of 6, the guardian of healing, balance, and sacred responsibility. Together, they do not push, they realign. The Buddha taught that all things arise in dependence. From craving comes suffering, from presence comes liberation, and so too does 26 appear, not by chance, but as part of a karmic dance, woven through thought, choice, and intention. This is the number that appears when you are no longer aligned with your inner Dharma. It whispers, are your days shaped by your true self, or by borrowed expectation? It asks you to pause, not out of fear, but out of reverence, and examine, not just where you are, but why you are there. It is the guide who holds a lantern to your soul's blueprint and says, with loving firmness, come back. Unlike the seismic shifts of numbers that demand chaos before clarity, 26 moves with grace. It does not break, it reweaves. Like a weaver of karma, it invites you to pick up the thread of your own becoming and stitch it into a new pattern, not hurried, not forced, but honest. It speaks to those ready to release the weight of roles they've outgrown, to those willing to admit that sometimes real power is found not in striving forward, but in stepping inward. In this still recalibration lies the deepest form of progress, the kind that endures. As Venus casts her soft light across the sky this August, your heart becomes more readable. Emotions rise, not to overwhelm you, but to guide you. Let number 26 be the mirror that doesn't reflect your image, but your intention. Are your choices rooted in truth or in habit? Are you holding on to identities that comfort your ego, but starve your soul? Let go, not because you must, but because your inner alignment is waiting patiently just beyond the noise. True abundance the kind that nourishes both spirit and skin, is born not from pressure, but from peace. And number 26, the silent sage of your journey, comes to remind you real success is not a chase, it is a harmony. So ask yourself gently, before the stars move on, am I still walking my truth, or merely surviving someone else's dream? Number 11, the gateway of self-realization. In a world that often dazzles us with noise and distractions, the number 11 does not shout, it does not dazzle, it stands quietly, powerfully, like twin pillars in the mist, a sacred threshold between illusion and insight. Some numbers come to decorate the path, but 11 is the path itself, the silent invitation to step through a doorway into something deeper, something truer, something timeless. It appears like a reflection at the edge of awakening, where the mind no longer seeks to control, and the soul begins to remember. The ancients saw 11, not as a mere number, but as a mystical bridge. One line for the human, one for the divine. A symbol of duality, united in purpose, light and shadow, doubt and wisdom, fear and truth, all mirrored in perfect symmetry. In Buddhist philosophy, this is the heart of non-duality, the space where opposites dissolve, and liberation is no longer a future goal, but a present presence. Number 11 is not here to decorate your life, it is here to recalibrate it. And this August, as Uranus disrupts the old rhythms of the sky, we find ourselves pushed toward truth, whether we are ready or not. Old structures crack open, not to destroy us, but to free the self we've buried beneath roles, timelines, and expectations. In that sacred disturbance, number 11 walks in, not as a threat, but as a sacred echo of your own potential. It asks, what are you clinging to that no longer belongs to the awakened version of you? You see, number 11 rarely appears in times of ease. It finds you in moments of spiritual urgency, when you're tired of pretending, when the soul grows louder than the ego, when the heart can no longer carry the weight of misalignment. It whispers in clocks, in license plates, in dreams you don't quite understand, and its message is always the same: the time to come home to yourself has arrived. In Buddhist practice, true awareness begins when you can simply observe, without resistance, your fears, your habits, your thoughts, all held in compassion, not judgment. Number 11 is that compassionate mirror. It doesn't demand perfection, it invites presence. It teaches you that you don't need to become anything more, you simply need to remember what you already are. Beneath every doubt is clarity. Beneath every fear is light. You don't need to transcend your humanity to find your divinity, you only need to embrace both, fully. So when 11 begins to follow you, like a quiet guardian, along your journey, pause. Don't rush to interpret, instead soften, breathe, reflect. The universe isn't trying to impress you, it's trying to awaken you. Ask yourself, with honest stillness, what truth within me have I been avoiding, and am I finally ready to see it without turning away? Number 37, the whisper of evolution. There are numbers that shout, numbers that arrive with fire, demand, and disruption. But then there are numbers like 37, soft as a dawn breeze, subtle as breath, the kind that do not demand your attention, but invite your transformation. It arrives not with a storm, but with a stillness, not to wake you violently, but to stir something that has long been waiting beneath your surface. 37 is not a scream, it is a sacred whisper, a whisper that begins to echo louder when your soul has grown weary of pretending everything is fine. Within this number lives a divine equation, 3. The pulse of creation, movement, and possibility dances with 7, the seeker, the mystic, the number of inner depth. When these forces merge, they create a path that is both ancient and new, a journey not outward, but inward, A revolution not of rebellion, but of remembering. For in the silence of 37, something begins to shift, not in your world, but in your perception of it. It is the invitation to evolve not by force, but by truth. Not by running, but by returning to what has always been sacred within you. Buddhism teaches us that suffering can be the doorway to awakening. But suffering is not the only gate. Sometimes, the more potent doorway is discontent without disaster, the silent knowing that you're simply not living from the full depth of your being. 37 appears when the outer world seems quiet, but your inner world stirs. When you're functioning well enough, meeting expectations, keeping pace, yet underneath, you sense something vital is missing. This number is the space between survival and aliveness. It is not here to shake your world. It is here to remind you that you were never meant to just exist. You were meant to awaken. You may feel this number's presence when you begin questioning things others are content with. When the life you've built feels stable, yet your heart whispers of something more, something truer. That whisper is 37. It does not break you. It beckons you. It calls you toward intentional change, the kind born from clarity, not crisis. The kind that doesn't burn down the house, but opens a window and lets the soul breathe. This is not the transformation of chaos. It is the transformation of conscious choice, the evolution that comes from finally listening to what you've been quietly silencing for years. So, if you've felt unsettled lately, not in panic, but in pause, know this. It is your spirit stretching beyond its old frame. It is your essence nudging you towards something more authentic, more aligned. You are not being rushed. You are being realigned. You are not behind. You are being reborn. And 37 stands beside you, not as a command, but as a companion, gently asking, where have you accepted safety in place of soulfulness? Where have you mistaken stability for peace? Let this number not be a pressure, but a permission. Permission to begin again, with intention. Permission to say yes to depth, over distraction. Permission to evolve in your own rhythm, in your own sacred way. For in the sacred mathematics of the universe, 37 is not an answer, it is a question, a divine inquiry that stirs the seeker within you. And now I ask you as 37 gently taps on your spirit, what part of yourself is quietly asking to be reborn? And are you willing to listen before it must shout? Number 3, the spark of creative flow. There are moments when the soul begins to hum, softly at first, like a forgotten melody echoing in the chambers of your being. Number 3 is that sound, the gentle rhythm of creation itself, knocking not at your mind, but at your heart's most sacred doorway. In the dance of the cosmos, it is the step that brings motion to stillness, laughter to silence, and color to the gray rituals of existence. 3 has always held power, the trinity of time, past, present, future, the sacred Buddhist triad, body, speech, and mind. And in the Eightfold Path, it reflects the holy flame of intention, right thought, right speech, right action. But number 3 does not merely symbolize alignment, it is the invitation to embody it. It asks not for perfection, but presence. It asks not what you've accomplished but what you've expressed from the depths of your unfiltered soul. August opens a channel for creative resurgence, not the kind that seeks applause, but the kind that heals. You are being called to unearth the part of you that once created simply because it felt divine. Paint, dance, speak, write, not to impress the world, but to remember who you are beneath the noise. Even Baba Vanga once spoke of the power of vibrational alignment, how our words become spells, and our joy becomes medicine. And as the moon waxes near the lion's gate, number 3 breathes in radiant fire, urging you to reclaim your voice, your rhythm, your joy. Have you silenced your own music just to be accepted by a world that forgot how to listen? Have you postponed your poetry in exchange for practicality? Number 3 whispers, now is the time, not to escape, but to adorn your reality with soul. So ask yourself, with honesty and tenderness, what sacred joy have I buried beneath survival, and am I ready now to let it sing again? Bonus number 31. The portal in plain sight. There are moments in life so quiet, so subtle, that we nearly miss them, yet they carry the power to unravel our fate. Number 31 does not arrive with thunder or spectacle. It enters as a whisper, a faint shimmer in the corner of your awareness. It is not the storm, but the stillness before it, the kind of stillness that awakens a part of you long asleep. It is the soft knock at the soul's door, asking not for urgency, but for presence. In the sacred geometry of the cosmos, 3 is the dream, the divine blueprint, the unfolding lotus of creative vision. 1 is the will, the origin spark, the single-pointed flame that dares to begin. When these forces meet, they do not collide, they collaborate, and from that sacred union is born a quiet alchemy, the transformation of thought into movement, the realization of purpose through gentle courage. Buddhist teachings remind us that enlightenment does not crash into us. It reveals itself slowly through mindful breath, honest observation, and humble surrender. The number 31 aligns with this wisdom. It shows itself not in the climax of things, but in the spaces in between, the pause between inhale and exhale, the gaze before a decision is made, the quiet voice in the heart before action. It reminds us that the way forward is not always about rushing or clarity, but about trust. There is a portal hidden in your present moment, not in the dramatic gestures, but in the seemingly ordinary, a conversation that lingers, a path you've passed 100 times but now looks different, a thought you can't shake even though you tried. It is the cosmic checkpoint, the subtle invitation to take a step, not toward certainty, but toward willingness. As the energies of August pull the veil between intention and manifestation thinner, this bonus number appears as a sacred ally. It tells you that the universe has not forgotten your dreams. It has simply been waiting for your readiness. Not perfect readiness, just the willingness to listen, to lean into the unknown, and to honor the soft call of becoming. Because sometimes the most profound transformations begin not with answers, but with one whispered yes. So ask yourself gently, what subtle sign have I been ignoring that might actually be my greatest invitation to evolve? These sacred numbers, 7, 26, 11, 37, 3 and the veiled wonder of 31, are not random signs scattered on the winds of August. They are ancient markers in the sky, cosmic coordinates laid out for those who have begun to see with the inner eye, for the ones who no longer chase blindly but pause and listen, who no longer force their way forward but attune themselves to the quiet rhythm of the universe. If these numbers have touched something in you, it is because you were meant to hear them. You are no longer a seeker lost in noise. You are becoming a vessel of stillness, a student of the sacred pause, and in that silence, your life begins to turn, not with struggle, but with grace. Now comes the deeper question: how will you respond to the invitation? Will you return to the old patterns of striving, or will you soften into alignment, letting your steps be led by something greater than logic, the knowing whisper of your soul? Let your intentions bloom not from fear, but from faith. Let your movement arise not from urgency, but from clarity. Because when you begin to live from inner peace, you no longer pursue abundance, you become a sanctuary for it. You no longer chase destiny, you become one with its flow. So breathe, receive, align, and if this message has stirred something in you, offer it back with presence. Like this video, subscribe to Old Buddhist Philosophy, and share in the comments below. I trust the quiet direction of my life, because true transformation does not arrive with thunder. It comes like a monk's footstep at dawn. It whispers, not to your ears, but to your soul. And if you've stayed this long, you have already begun to hear it. You are ready.